Wait, what? Brenan Vernon has committed to Notre Dame? In a 5-second video, this is what the reaction should be to this commitment for Notre Dame. Yes, fireworks have gone off. It's not the 4th of July just yet, but Brenan Vernon committing to Notre Dame is an absolute monstrous recruiting win for Notre Dame. A huge upset. This one came out of the blue. It was unexpected. It was a massive early recruiting win for the Fighting Irish. As always, folks, if you like what you see in this video, which if you're a Notre Dame fan, you definitely will, then go ahead and hit the thumbs up on this video. And if you want more Notre Dame football recruiting coverage, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. So let's talk about how the heck this came together. Brenan Vernon, a 6'5", 250-pound strong side defensive end in the 2023 class. So he is just entering his junior year of high school, ranked as a 6.0 4-star prospect, which is Rivals designation of a high 4-star player who is just on the cusp of 5-star status. I know most people seeing the number 9 national ranking in the country would say, how is the number 9 player in the country not a 5-star? Rivals does things a little bit slower. Like, they're not going to just dish out 35 stars right away in the recruiting cycle when it's still this early. So I believe there's only 4 5-star recruits in the 2023 class. So Vernon certainly on the cusp of it and would not be surprised if he ends up a 5-star. He was Notre Dame's first 2023 offer. This came back in January of 2020, and everyone assumed it was kind of going to be an Ohio State Notre Dame battle, but the feeling was that the Buckeyes, being the in-state school, a ton of pull there with guys like Chase Young, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, the strong defensive end tradition that Ohio State has, that the Buckeyes would run away with this recruitment. And you see, if you go on Vernon's Rivals page right now, it'll say he's committed to Notre Dame, but this video was recorded before that happened. So you see the FutureCast picks in. There's 3 for Ohio State, even one that went in earlier this month. Everyone thought he was going to Ohio State, but again, Vernon pulling off a shocker. Things really heated up between Notre Dame and Vernon. I would say going back to May, contact really picked up between the two parties, and then in June he took a visit, camped for Irish Invasion June 6th, had an incredible time that weekend, and then returned to campus June 25th through the 27th. Another strong visit. Here is Vernon pictured with Mike Elston on the left side of your screen and Marcus Freeman on the right side. Vernon really connected with those two guys. Got to give a ton of credit to Mike Elston, and Freeman did a great job as well. Vernon's not really a big social media guy. He rarely posts, he rarely does interviews, so his commitment was kept under wraps. You didn't see a lot of predictions go in at the 12th hour for him to land at Notre Dame. It was a surprise, and it really hurts Ohio State, in my opinion. This is, for as big as a recruiting win as this is for Notre Dame, going out and getting this elite defensive end prospect who, I don't know if Notre Dame would have a player they want more in the 2023 class at that position than Brenan Vernon. So as much as it helps Notre Dame, it's got to sting Ohio State. This is a guy who I saw in person. That photo in this commit graphic was one I took back in April at the Columbus Under Armour camp. Thought he looked really good there. His just size, his power, I think he really has all of the makings of a future first-round pick. And, I don't like projecting things 5-6 years out, but I think I can say that with a little bit of confidence in Vernon because, you just don't know with injuries and what exactly the development looks like. But with Brenan Vernon, he is one darn good football player. And we'll take a look here at some of his sophomore clips, only a couple of minutes. He had a shortened season, battled some injury. He also battled some injuries as a freshman, but played through them. He is an absolute warrior and a workhorse. This is someone who, I'm told when he was at that Irish Invasion camp, the media wasn't allowed for that on June 6th, but I'm told that he was just an absolute baller, and the staff absolutely loved him. He is a quarterback's worst nightmare. In terms of his fit at Notre Dame, certainly strong side defensive end. Could he slide into a 3 technique at times? I'm sure I could see that. But in terms of, playing that 5 technique and absolutely wreaking havoc on an offense, whether that's in the passing game or in the run game, Brenan Vernon has it all. And then you look at Monday's commitment, talked about that on our YouTube page and also had plenty of articles about it at blueandgold.com. Keon Keeley, a 6'6", 230-pound Viper commit for Notre Dame on Monday. And then the next day, you follow it up with a verbal pledge from Brenan Vernon, who's that strong side end. What just a perfect tandem there. 2 of Elston's very top of the board guys, if not his top 2 overall targets, the guys he absolutely wanted the most. Again, I can't emphasize enough, just how big of a recruiting win this is and the upset. Everyone thought that Brenan Vernon was going to Ohio State, but Notre Dame just has something about it that if a kid goes to campus and it clicks, then it's not a surprise to see him end up there. So Brenan Vernon, also someone I don't expect to waver in the process. I also don't expect Ohio State to give up on him. But just in my very limited interactions with him, because again, he does not talk to the media very much, but in my limited interactions with him and then just talking to different people about Brenan Vernon, I would be stunned if he is not a very solid commit to Notre Dame. It's tough for Notre Dame to go into Ohio State's backyard and win battles against them for recruits that they want, but they did it with Brenan Vernon in this case. They did it with Lorenzo Styles in the 2021 class, a young man who grew up in Columbus. His dad played for the Buckeyes, but he spurned the local choice to choose Notre Dame. Zeke Correll, offensive lineman in the 2019 class, had an offer from Ohio State. You look at the 2016 class, Liam Eichenberg, Tommy Kramer. So Notre Dame does win these head-to-head recruiting battles against Ohio State in their backyard, but it does not happen often. Touched on this, but have to give a little bit more love to Mike Elston and Marcus Freeman for this recruiting win. Everything, I really think that they just crushed this recruitment from top to bottom, whether it was the Zoom presentations, the phone calls, in person, just a ton of credit to these 2 guys. The continued success of Mike Elston, bringing in 3-star guys and developing them into NFL players, bringing in 4 or 5-star type players, sending them to the NFL. He's built such a strong culture in that defensive line room. And again, the sustained success as that defensive line coach and recruiting coordinator. Elston's just done a phenomenal job in his tenure at Notre Dame with Brian Kelly. That is it for this video. Make sure you leave your comments with your thoughts about this commitment. How big do you think this pledge is for the Irish? Make sure you let me know and hit the thumbs up if you like what you saw in this video. And make sure to go to blueandgold.com for all of the coverage of this commitment.